Today I'm going to take a little paddle upstream the Menominee River here. It's actually reasonably not humid or too warm like it's been lately. So, I'm going north, upstream from my dock here. As you can see, the river's pretty low, which is normal for this time of year. When we had the flood in the spring, I mean, it was almost up to the road up there. See where that is when this car goes by. The current's not very strong here, although in the spring when the ice break up and everything, the spring flood, it gets to be pretty strong. Earlier in the week, I was going to put the wood boat in and got everything ready. Was about to eat lunch, so I parked it wanted to park it in the shade. So I'm driving it pulling it into the back yard with the truck, being careful not to hit a tree with the front of the truck. So I neglected to watch where my trailer wheels were. So all of a sudden I hear a clunk, not really hard or anything, and I'm going 5 miles an hour or less, and I look in the mirror, the mirror, and the boat is up like this. So initially I thought, what happened? The left trailer wheel fell off, and then as soon as I thought that, I realized that was impossible. So I look in the right rear view mirror, and the right trailer wheel is sitting on top of a stump. A fish just jumped way up there. I don't know if you saw that, but I very slowly backed it down, and as it turns out, I managed to bend the axle and the bracket that holds the leaf springs on. So now the boat and trailer is sitting on blocks in the pole shed while I'm waiting for a new axle and parts to get here. So that's how last week started for me. So anyway, I'm going to paddle up here a ways just to kind of see how deep it is. See if it's worth trying to come up with my pram there and do some fishing. There's a spot about a mile upriver here that I've always thought would be a good spot to fish. Fairly deep along the corner, and previous times when I've paddled up there I could see fish down like 6 feet below on the bottom. I will say, for a river, the water of the Menominee River here is really clean, surprisingly clean in my estimation. spring flood, the water was right up to that bottom of that deck. When I first moved up here, I would see a fair number of people fishing, but in recent years it's not very frequent at all. I guess the fishing on Green Bay is so good. Anybody that's got a decent fishing boat is out there. There's a charter of a flat bottom riverboat is here pretty often during the weekdays. They take guys fly fishing. I think mostly they catch bass. And talking to the guy a couple times, sounds like they have mixed results. The problem with this river north of where I live is there's all these rock piles, and they change from season to season. You know, when the ice flow goes out, moves them. So going north of my dock with the motorboat, you got to be real careful. I've definitely dinged my prop a few times. But it's a nice paddle. It's kind of a beautiful spot. I have seen bald eagles and hawks. I've not seen any bald eagles lately. And earlier in the year there were geese pairs and ducks and mergansers with their chicks. Occasionally you'd see a muskrat. Don't think I've ever seen a beaver on this river though. And there are sturgeon in here. Sitting on the end of the dock once, and about a 4-foot sturgeon swam right underneath my feet. And then in the spring when they're spawning, you can see them jump out of the water. My understanding is that that's the females. They're trying to work their eggs out by swimming and jumping out of the water and then slapping down on the surface. I don't know if you can see the bottom here, but it's probably 3 or 4 feet deep, and the water's nice and clear. You can see. Usually when I paddle along here, you know, I can spook a fish or two, usually bass, occasionally northern. And I'm sure there are walleye in here, but they're probably, you know, in deep holes. So I haven't really done enough fishing to figure out where they would be on this river. Plus, like I say, it changes every year. Picking up a little bit of a tailwind. Usually if you can stay out of the current, it's not too bad paddling upstream. And I usually go right down the middle with the current coming back. This is where there's kind of a nice hole. And with the shade and the trees, I would think might be a good spot for walleye, you know, in late evening or in the early morning. And other times when I paddle through here, I've seen fish down along the bottom. Huh. Looks like a deer antler there. Deer carcass. Very rare to see any garbage. Sometimes in the summer when it's really hot, I might see 100 or more inner tubers drifting down all day. But everybody is pretty good at taking care of their garbage around here. You don't, find stuff on the bottom of the river either. If this was a trout stream, it would be perfect. That's my only complaint. That's the only kind of fish I really like to fish for. There's a bunch of minnows. Now we're coming completely around this island back into the main river. Really shallow here. So they got 2 boats fishing. That's about regular for a Saturday now. Must be in real shallow water there if he's not even putting his trolling motor in the water. Fairly deep over here. I wonder if they're aground there. Looks like it. They're rocking the boat trying to get loose. I'm guessing that's a smallmouth bass. Good size one. Well, what side to go back on? Might get a little more windbreak on the right side here. Try that. Oh shit. Oops. Thought I'd catch some speed off the current going over this little rock pile, but I didn't think I'd hit bottom. Oh well. Looks like the wind is gonna funnel straight up in my face no matter what side I'm on. Oh well. This side is the Wisconsin side. now. I'm catching a pretty good current. Oh, more rocks. Back in the wind. Looking like an old giant fishing pole. Oh, there you are. Beautiful day. Alright, so that's looking downstream. I can't quite see my place yet. Ooh, there was a bass. Seen 3 of them jump. Did not get a good look at the fish though, so I don't know what it was, but that was definitely a smallmouth there I just saw. Just saw another bass swimming. There's my dock. There's a couple turtles on my log over there. There used to be a family of ducks sitting on that almost every morning. Oh, it's pretty deep in the middle here. Three turtles. I'm surprised they haven't launched already. Oh, there they go. There's always been a shallow spot right here with this rock pile. I've been seeing this great big carp swimming around when I'm sitting on the end of the dock. I don't know if they're territorial or not, but it looks like the same big fat carp swimming along, sucking up the bottom. Well, here we are, home sweet home. About an hour is about all my back wants to sit. Come on. Amazing how weak you get when you get to be old. Well, maybe I'll go for another ride after supper. Too nice of a day to spend inside. Yeah, if this river was normally about a foot deeper, it would be perfect, but can't complain. Not bad.